Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Unstruggle Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Glenn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm so glad you're here. And if you don't mind, share this episode with your friends and family on your social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I don't care. Just share it. The only way that this podcast grows, the only way that we prosper is by you sharing it with your friends and family. We appreciate you so much for sharing it, and I'm glad that you get some kind of value to where you feel like you want to share it. So thank you so much. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about habits. Why are habits so important? Why are there so many books about habits? Have you ever noticed that there are so many books about habits? There's Atomic Habits, there's The Power of Habit, there's High Performance Habits. Even there's even books that habits not in the name, it's about habits, like my personal favorite here, The Compound Effect. If you have not read this book, it is life changing. This book is the single most important book in my library. I could say changed my life. Absolutely. I've read it probably 3 or 4 times already, but it's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I can guarantee you that if you read this book and put it to use, it's going to change your life for the better. Now, as far as habits go, why are they so important? Well, the habits are the things that we do every single day that make a difference in our life, whether it's good habits or bad habits. Now, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but let's just go into a couple of examples. Let's say uh, Tim over here. Tim wakes up every day, makes himself a cup of coffee, goes to work, comes home, watches TV, you know, eats dinner, goes back, watches a little bit more TV, takes a shower, goes to bed, gets up the next day, does the same thing all over again. On the weekends, on his days off, he doesn't really do much. He might do a little yard work, do a little bit around the house, watches a little bit more TV, goes out to dinner, things like that. Nothing really, he's got a routine, he's got his habits, he watches his TV, he mows his grass once a week, he, goes out to dinner once a week, things like that. He has his habits, but 10, 15 years down the road, is much going to change doing that? Not really. Now let's go over to example B. We're going to have, let's call him Steve. Steve's over here. Let's say Steve gets up every morning 2 hours before he's got to go to work. For the first 30 minutes of his morning, Steve gets on a treadmill for 30 minutes. He sets an incline all the way up, sets the speed about 3/4 of the way up. He's getting a good sweat going. He's working his heart, getting the cardio muscles pumping. So he gets his treadmill workout in, goes and takes a shower, gets everything good and smelling good before he has to go into work. Gets out of his shower, he reads for 30 minutes, has a protein shake for breakfast, heads on into work. However, on his drive to work, he's listening to an audiobook to help, stimulate his mindset and help him keep a positive mindset and, spreading that positive message as he's getting his drive into work. So let's say 5 years down the road, Steve, he's gotten 15, 20 audiobooks in, reading 30 minutes a day. He's read 10, 15 books. From his 30 minutes a day on the treadmill alone, he's maintaining his weight. He's healthy. He feels good. He goes through every single day with a positive mindset. His body's not aching all the time. So for, Steve's doing pretty good. He can't complain because of that positive mindset and because of his mental health and his physical health. Steve feels good. So he produces well at work. He does well. He gets a job promotion. Now, Tim, on the other hand, over here, doing the same thing over and over and over again, he faces the risk of what we call burnout, which Tim gets tired of what he's doing. He starts to wonder, what the hell am I doing with my life? I do the same thing over and over and over again. We see it all the time in movies. You watch movies all the time where, they just like, I'm so tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I need something to change. And then something crazy happens. And, one of those feel good stories where at the end of the movie, everything's so different and their life is so much better. But what if it didn't take something so crazy to happen for something to change? All it takes is just that one little shift. So let's get into the good habits versus the bad habits. Now, I'm not trying to judge anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad for the things that they do in their life, because I've been there. Before I started my journey of self-discovery 5-6 years ago, I did all this stuff. This is the only reason why I bring this stuff up, because this is the stuff that changed my life. So that's the only reason why I bring this stuff up. And this is the only reason why I know that I could speak on this stuff. This is the only reason why I know that this will, if you put it to work, change your life. So let's start with the bad habits. So the bad habits: eating like shit. Number one, your eating habits. Okay. I was a very, very bad food addict. Okay. I was a very bad food addict. I loved eating, loved food. It didn't matter what it was, I would eat it. I was really big on fast food, the McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. Taco Bell was my number one go-to because it's cheap. You can get a lot of food for a little money. And the nutritional value is horrible. So what happened? I gained a lot of weight over a 5-year period. I think I gained about 120 pounds. So it got really bad. So my physical health went down. Now, my eating habits were horrible. Number two, if I was not working and I was not sleeping, I was watching TV. Now, I will tell you that when I watch TV, I watch something positive. I watch the comedies. I like the stuff that makes me laugh. My favorite shows are That 70s Show, The Office. I can't even think. Big Bang Theory. I'm a really big Bang Theory guy. But, even watching all this stuff that makes me laugh, yeah, it made me laugh, but I used it as an escape from the world. It made me laugh in the time I was watching, but when I wasn't watching, it wasn't really doing anything for my life. So really in that time and it wasn't just, I'd watch an episode or two, I would binge watch it for hours and hours. And I had the DVD set of the Big Bang Theory. So I would 4 or 5 hours at a time, I would sit and watch this. So that's 4 or 5 hours of my life every single day. 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do the math. That is a part-time job. A part-time job I spent watching one TV show that was doing nothing to progress my life whatsoever. So, number 3 bad habit: playing video games. Now, I'm gonna stop everybody right there before they sharpen their pitchforks and light the torches, because I know people love their video games. I love my video games too, but I'm not saying you have to absolutely cut these things out. I'm not saying you have to absolutely stop playing video games, stop watching TV, and all that shit. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to limit this stuff. This is the stuff that has to go into the box like once or twice a week, like an hour or two at a time. Okay. So, video games. Now, I was a big Call of Duty guy. I would play I would burn entire days playing Call of Duty. I'm talking 8 to 10 hours, like an entire work shift worth of video games on my days off. Like, would have to stop to eat meals or grab snacks or whatever while I was playing. Now, figure that out for the year. I'm not going to do the whole math right now, but just imagine the things that I could have gotten done in that time versus playing video games. And I mean, it's not even anything like playing Call of Duty. I was walking around shooting people. I was killing people. There was nothing I was really getting from that. Yeah, I could make up an excuse like, oh yeah, I was working on my hand-eye coordination. I had awesome hand-eye coordination. I could pop a dude from freaking 30 meters away, whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, and people will get mad at me if they want to, and that's okay, but I was wasting time. I was wasting a whole lot of time. I was wasting a whole lot of my mental resources that I had, and it wasn't doing anything to progress my life. Number 4, once again, don't sharpen the pitchforks, don't light the torches yet. But number 4, naps. I loved my naps. I absolutely loved my naps. I couldn't get enough of them. Saturday afternoon naps. I would nap for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, however long I wanted to sleep, I would sleep. Saturday and Sunday. Sunday after church, I would come home, take a nap. So 2 days a week. Sometimes before I had to go to work, because I've always worked second or third shift. I've never been the 9 to 5 kind of guy, because number one, first shift doesn't pay as good as second or third shift. I mean, let's just face it. And on a side note, I don't mean to get off topic, but I want to put this on the table, because I've been talking about this with a lot of people lately. Why is everything in America built for the people that work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday? But really, in reality, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 doesn't really exist anymore in the working world. It doesn't. Everything is second shift. Even if they post a job like, oh, we have first shift Monday through Friday available. When you apply for the job and you get to the interview, they're like, well, all those positions are gone. But what we can do is give you third shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Tuesday through Sunday. How does that sound? People need to wake up. 8 to 5 Monday through Friday does not exist anymore, unless you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business and you're doing success and you're being successful to where you don't have to work another job and you don't have to work a day job, because 8 to 5 Monday through Friday non-existent anymore. But anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox. Sorry, guys. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So napping, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. Sometimes during the week, but on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So let's just say at the most 10 hours a week. So that's 10 hours a week. So that's 520 hours a year. 520 hours a year. Could you imagine what I could get done in 520 hours a year? Well, I could tell you right now, this podcast, between recording it and uploading it and editing it and everything, maybe 3 hours a week, maybe 3 hours a week. So I could have started this podcast 10 years ago, back before podcasts were big, back before everybody had their podcast, and I could have been a pioneer, but I was wasting my time. Number one. Number two, I had no idea what the hell a podcast was. But so eating habits, TV, video games, napping, and number 5, poor exercise habits, poor physical activity. Now, as you can see, looking at me, I'm not 100% the fittest person. I'm not, but I'm way better than I used to be. Way better than I used to be. I didn't have a neck. I would eat whatever I wanted when I wanted. Now I get my optimal nutrition. I make sure I eat my green vegetables with every single meal. I have my supplements I take. I have my products that I use to, optimize my nutrition. I get my physical, my entire job is nothing but walking, lifting, and physical activity. I go hiking regularly and things like that. I take walks with the kids, take them to the park, walk a couple laps around the park. On the average, I would say I walk about 15 to 20 miles a week. And that's no bullshit. But the lack of physical activity, if you're sitting on video games and you're watching TV all the time, the fact of the matter is you're not getting a lot of physical activity. And people could say that, well, I get out and I walk, or I do this and I do that. Well, at my job I do this and and again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying anybody's lying or anything like that, and I'm not here to make anybody feel bad, but your physical stance and your physical stature can prove it. They're all the people that play video games a lot, even the skinniest of people, that you can tell that they're not physically healthy. Physical health is very, very important, because even if you're not morbidly obese, you're still not healthy. Even on the smallest of builds, lack of physical activity, even if you're not getting obese, you're still putting your body at risk. So those bad habits are not only keeping you from progressing in life, but they're also shortening your life to where not only are you not progressing, but you're losing time that you could progress at the same time. So we talked about the bad habits. So let's get on to the good habits. So a couple of the things that I have adjusted. Number one, I've really cut back on the TV. I don't really watch TV at all anymore. I watch an episode or two of a show like once a day. That's it. But the first good habit I push on everybody: reading. Read more, read more, read more. A lot of people will say read for 30 minutes a day. Myself, I don't really go by the minutes. I go by pages. I say I read 20 pages a day. So if I have a 20-page book or a 200-page book, I'll read that book in 10 days. So that's pretty decent. So if every 10 days, so that has me add what is it? There's 365 days a year, so about 36 and a half books a year. That's pretty good for a start, reading 20 pages a day. So 20 pages a day, that takes me about maybe 45 minutes. So that's pretty decent. And the knowledge that you get from reading, if you implement it in your life and you take it into consideration, really think about it. Sometimes you write stuff down. I've already got about 3 or 4 notebooks full of stuff that I've written down just from books that I've read or audio books that I've listened to. But it really makes a huge difference, not only on your habits, but on many other things in your life, because what these books are doing, they're getting the wheels turning up here, guys. They're getting you thinking. And then that's where the creativity comes out. That's where the ideas get to coming. And that's where the progress gets to get made. So number 1, reading. Read more, read more, read more. So number 2, you got to get up earlier. If you are one of the chosen few that work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and you want to make progress in your life, if you don't want to make progress in your life, number 1, I don't know what the hell you're watching me for, but I appreciate it. But there's nothing I can do for you. Number 2, it's time to make progress, seriously, because we can say all day long we don't want to make progress in our life, but there's going to come a time when you're going to regret it, in all seriousness, guys. So if you don't want to make progress in your life, there's going to come a time when you want to. But anyway, if you want to make progress in your life, I would seriously suggest, if you work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, you need to be awake no later than 5 a.m. because that will give you at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before you have to leave to go to work. In that time, I would be crunching in some kind of physical activity, some kind of reading, perhaps some kind of journaling. And I'm going to get to journaling here in a minute. So actually that would lead me to that would lead to a more number 2. So number 2 would be get up early, but also a morning routine. Morning routine. That has been the bread and butter of my life for 5 years now. My morning routine, it's changed a little bit and it's tweaked a little, but the difference in my life has been amazing. And I can't talk enough about it. But a morning routine. So you get up at 5 a.m. You give yourself 5 minutes to stretch. I wake up every morning, I stretch out, stretch everything out, shoulders, arms, back, legs, everything. Jump in the dreaded cold shower. Oh yeah. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I love it. Absolutely love my cold shower. My meditation for 10 minutes. I love my meditation. It helps me calm, center, make sure I'm prepared for the day mentally and spiritually. Journaling, which once again I'll get to in a minute. But you don't have to have a cookie cutter morning routine. It's whatever you want. If you want to just pound it out in a muscle building workout and then take a shower and go to work, that's all you design your morning routine. But you had to look at your values and what's important to you to build your morning routine. For me, I want to be centered. I want to spend each day with purpose. I want to know what I want to accomplish each day. I want to know who I want to reach out to each day and how I can serve those people the best. So all of you watching this on YouTube, all of you listening to this on the audio right now, I thought about each and every one of you this morning and how I could serve you the best. And this podcast is my best effort to deliver that to you. So I want you to know that this isn't something that I just throw up and something that, I don't think into. This is something that I truly, truly care about. This is something that I really try to over deliver for you guys, to give you the best value, to give you the most change in your life. So morning routines, getting up early, number 2. Number 3, journaling. Let's go ahead and go into journaling. I've already mentioned it twice before I mentioned it again. Journaling. Now, when I was a kid, it was always oh, you keep a diary. We see it in the movies all the time. We all the kids, we see it with everybody, but journaling has helped me so much, and it's helped a lot of people tremendously just to get your thoughts on paper. And it really helps, not only get your thoughts out, but get where these thoughts are coming from. Why am I thinking this? Where is this thought coming from? And if you keep asking yourself the questions after question after question, and it's something that I learned from Dean Graziosi, and it's called the 7 layers deep questions. You ask yourself a question, and you're at, why is this important to me? And then you answer that question, and then, okay, why, whatever you answer that question, why is that so important? And then you get to the root cause of everything. And it really helps you brainstorm, get everything out of your head, because I know how it feels to walk around every day with all these thoughts in your head. You don't know why they're there. You don't know why they won't leave. And you don't know how to act on them to get them to go away. Journaling has helped tremendously. It's like a brain dump, just get everything out. And then you can kind of put bits and pieces together to figure out where everything's going, why it's there, and what you're supposed to do with it. So I really, really, really highly suggest journaling for everyone, regardless of whether you want to make an impact on your life or not, just to get your thoughts out. Especially, it really helps a lot. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. I do have about 10 years experience in the mental health field. I've been studying psychology since I was 16 years old. Even when I was a kid, I was sitting in on my mom's college level psychology classes. I've been studying the human brain since I was a kid. I'm obsessed with psychology, especially criminal psychology. But journaling does wonders for depression and anxiety and things like that, because it really helps you get to the root cause of your problems. It helps you get to the root cause of your issues. And once you can establish not only your issues and your root causes, but your triggers, then you can begin to combat your demons. And that's what it's all about for just about anything in our life, is combating those demons inside of us that keep us from progressing in our life and keep us from getting better. So I want everybody to keep that in mind that's watching this right now. If you struggle with anxiety and depression, try journaling for a week or 2. Write everything down that comes to your mind. Just work through it. Because I promise you, at the end of that 1 week or 2, you're going to have some kind of answers. And if you're seeing a medical professional, please discuss those answers with them, because they can help you bring some kind of focus to your mental health and help you bring some kind of attention to the treatment that you need. So number 1, read way more, especially if you were like me and you did nothing but watch TV and play video games. Number 2, get up early and establish a morning routine. Number 3, journaling. And number 4, find a great hobby to spend your time that is going to progress you in your life. For me, of course, it was my podcast, my blog, my YouTube channel, and things like that. I actually turned that. It started out as a hobby with my reptiles. I started out as Rye the Reptile Guy, and I started to build a business, as a reptile show. And from there, I realized, I'm really good at this. So then I started studying, being a life coach, and it was my full intention to be an entrepreneur coach, which I do specialize in entrepreneurship, and I do have the knowledge and the experience and the the backup to be able to help entrepreneurs. But my main focus became mindset. So you see how finding all this stuff kind of slid me right into the spot where I was supposed to be in my life. And I firmly believe that where I am right now is where I was meant to be. So all this stuff that I'm telling you right now, it's not just a bunch of hocus pocus bullshit that I'm telling you. It's not a bunch of woo woo. This is stuff that I have personally done in my life to get me where I was 6 years ago to where I am right now. And it's not about being a millionaire. It's not about those guys that sit on their yachts or stand outside of their Lamborghinis or their Ferraris and tell you, oh, well, you need to be doing this if you want to be a millionaire. It's not about that. It's about being happy. It's about living a better life. So these are the habits that I have enforced myself, that I have learned through books like The Compound Effect, that have made my life better. So, how do you go about changing your habits? Well, you just do it. Now, once again, I'm going to bring this book up, The Compound Effect. Now, what is the compound effect? The compound effect is taking baby steps, changing very small things to create maximum effect over time. Because this is not something that's going to happen overnight. You're not just going to up and decide one day, okay, I'm just going to stop watching TV. I'm going to read this book today. I'm going to journal. I'm going to journal for 30 minutes every day. I'm going to go run the block every day. It doesn't work like that. What you're going to do is you're going to set yourself up for failure. You're going to piss yourself off. You're going to stress yourself out, and then you're going to talk yourself out of progress in the process. So the compound effect, baby steps over time. So what I did when I started out, I watched less and less TV. I started reading a little bit more. As a matter of fact, the first book I ever read was Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. That was the first book that I read, well, in the nonfiction personal development books wise. And that book kind of set me on fire as to going up the ladder. And from there, I built a hell of a library. But I actually didn't even read The Compound Effect until last year, which reading the books that I've read throughout the years, I've read anywhere from Grant Cardone books to Tony Robbins books, and then everywhere in between. Some books, some people I never heard of. Some books are, medium heard of and things like that. But when I read The Compound Effect, that's when everything just like clicked. And then I remember this out of this book, this out of this book, and this out of these books, and everything just kind of locked together. And it's like when you put a key in a lock and everything, the grooves just meet and turns. That's how it worked when I read The Compound Effect. Everything just kind of fell into place. So when it comes to changing your habits, baby steps, change small things every day. So on your first day, say, I'm going to read 10 pages of a book. I'm going to journal for 10 minutes and then go from there. Make small changes and then go about your life. Now, the next day, I'm going to read 10 more pages. I'm going to journal for 10 minutes. I'm going to add a cold shower. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but do it. Do it. I promise. It sounds crazy, but you will not regret it. I remember the first time that I got my wife to take a cold shower. She screamed bloody murder, but she screamed bloody murder, but to this day she still does it. It's amazing. If you don't know about cold showers, check out my podcast episode, The Wim Hof Method. If you don't know who Wim Hof is, go to thewimhofmethod.com and check him out. He's insane, but he is a miracle worker and he's amazing. But check out my podcast episode on the Wim Hof Method and the positive changes that a cold shower can bring you. But anyway, yeah, just keep building yourself up, baby steps, because that's how you build the progress. That's how you build the momentum, because you see yourself starting to change, and then it lights a fire under your ass and it kind of boosts you up like a rocket. So then before you know it, your habits have completely changed. You don't watch barely any TV. The video game system is collecting dust on your TV stand. If it wasn't for your son, it wouldn't get used at all, because that's where I'm at right now. But that's how it works. Baby steps. And if you fail and you fall down and you fall back into your old habits, it's okay. Everybody does it. You dust yourself off, try again. If you need any help whatsoever, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help with anything I can, especially about this, because I struggled so much with this in the beginning. I built myself up. It took me so long to get everything put together to be able to change my habits. especially building my morning routine and things like that. But I can honestly say that I have arrived at the point where I have built my habits to where I feel good about myself. I'm making tremendous amount of progress, and I don't feel like I'm wasting time anymore. I feel like I'm always making progress. Even in the times where, yeah, I may lose sleep. Yes, there's some times where I wish I could just, everybody asks me, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you watch this? Did you watch this movie? Did you watch this episode of this show? Oh, did you see that wrestling event? And my kids and we watch the pay-per-views for WWE and things like that, but there's a lot of times I don't get to watch stuff because I'm too busy building. And there's going to come my time. There's going to come that time when I'm to the point where my tower is built high enough to where I could say, you know what? It's okay. I could take this time, watch that, come back. But right now, it's not my time. Right now, I'm in build mode. And that's where habits get you. Because when you are building, when you have positive habits and you have the good habits, you're in build mode. When you have the negative habits, you're in destruction mode, because that's all you're doing is destructing your life. And I guarantee you, when you have the negative habits, there's going to come a time in your life, it may be 5, 10, 15, hopefully not 30, 40 years from now, where you regret it. And I hope that doesn't happen to you. Again, if you need any help with your habits, please reach out to me. I am 100% open to help you. You can reach out to me. You can comment below. I'll put my email in the description below for all those on YouTube. On the podcast, I'll put my email in the description below. But it is coachwithryan@icloud.com. So it goes directly to my cell phone. I will see it. I will email you back as soon as I can. But please reach out to me if you need any help with your habits or with morning routines or with anything. I would love to help you in any way I can. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Please, please, please follow the podcast on your favorite podcast provider. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell so you never miss an upload, because I'm going to be throwing good value at you every week, twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.